understand that Krishna had the Kshatriya spirit and purpose. Otherwise, he was quite a human being. That is why he was born of Devaki and Vasudeva. Maybe there was a lot of divinity in his birth. In fact, in the birth of every human being, it is divinity. I would like to say, every one of you is spiritual. Otherwise, we would all have become dead bodies, carcasses. The fact that our body is remaining animated and it is activated, it goes to prove very clearly that there is something above matter and energy in the way of the spirit. So that spiritual presence is what is responsible for shaping the body, making the body, ultimately having birth from the mother's womb. Everything is done because of the spirit. So never think for a moment that you are not spiritual or not divine. We are all divine. Our Upanishads address us as Shrinvantu Sarve Amritasya Putra. Listen, O ye children of immortality and divinity. This is the way we are addressed by the Upanishads. What does it mean? We are all divine. In the same way, Krishna was also divine. Otherwise, he was a human. What is the difference? There was a specific mission to be accomplished during his lifetime. The situation, the societal situation, political situation, the geographical situation, everything was different at that time. By taking birth in a quasi-royal family, he was able to fulfill the mission in a very effective and powerful manner. That is all the difference. Though Krishna was like that, Brahma and his retinue came down and the Devas are praising him. While praising, they understand the divinity of Krishna and see how they are describing him. After all, Krishna is considered to be a descent of Lord Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is in charge of the maintenance and preservation of whatever Brahma creates. So the creation is Brahma's responsibility and portfolio. Maintenance and preservation, ensuring the welfare of all, is Mahavishnu's. It is in connection with that the Krishna's divine birth called Purnavadara took place. So they come here and they are praising him in this manner. This praise is very, very significant. Otherwise, we will all think that Krishna is only a human. As a human, he had to fulfill a divine mission, an overall mission. Nasyodagavayivayasya vashe bhavanti brahmadayasthanubhruto mithurardyamana kalasyate prakriti purushayoho parasya shamnastanodu charanaha purushottamasya. Nasyodagavayivayasya vashe bhavanti brahmadayasthanubhruto mithurardyamana. I don't know whether your imagination is sufficiently powerful enough to understand the sharp critical relevance Devas are making in the presence of Brahma as well as Shiva. He says, Brahmadayasthanubhruto. Tanubhrutaha means those who are embodied, all the embodied beings. Brahmadayaha, from Brahma downwards. So this praise says, in the presence of Brahma, in the presence of Shiva also, the Devas are making this praise. Brahmadayaha, right from Brahma downwards, all are embodied beings. And all these embodied beings from Brahma onwards, including Shiva and all, mithu ardyamanaha, they are mutually tormented. So there is the spirit of competition, maybe sometimes spirit of jealousy also. It is not a free life for them. They are also tormented variously, mutually. Nasyotagavayivayasya vashe bhavanti. If mutually they are given to tormenting each other, then who will control them? If A and B are there and they are not in harmony, they are in disharmony, each opposes the other, tries to outwit the other, the question necessarily arises, somebody will have to hold the balance. Now the person who holds the balance is Mahavishnu. So looking at Krishna, they admit that he was an embodiment of Mahavishnu, a Purna Avatara, and as Mahavishnu's Purna Avatara, Nasyotagavayivayasya vashe bhavanti. All the embodied beings from Brahma downwards are under your control, your regulation. What kind of regulation? I think it's a very, very sharp word. Nasyotagavaiva. What does it mean? Nasyotagavaiva. Generally, if you have a number of cattle, cows, bulls, etc., all of them are looked after by a herdsman. Now, in order to control them, what does he do? The nose is pierced and a string is passed, and behind the horns it is tied. When the nose is pierced and a string is passed, every cow, every bull comes under control. And he uses this expression here, Nasyotagavaiva. Nasyotagavaiva. What does it mean? Nasyotagavaha, just like cows who are controlled by a nose string. Yasya vashe bhavanti. All the divine people agencies, Brahma and the others, are under your control. Just imagine the words used. It's a very, very sharp and critical evaluation. We think that everything in the heavens is peaceful and all right. No, certainly not. As is the human world, so also is the other alleged worlds. Kalasyate prakriti purushayoho parasya shamnastano tu charanaha purushottamasya. Kalasya prakriti purushayoho parasya purushottamasya. Now you are that supreme person who is in charge of prakriti, nature, and also prakriti is the other part, purusha. If there is a division between prakriti and purusha, you are the supreme purusha who is in charge of both prakriti and purusha, the distinct forms. And all the devas and the others, the lord of the devas, all of them are coming under you. Now such a great person, supreme person that you are, te charanaha naha sham tanutu. May your holy feet give us all the auspiciousness and welfare. This is how they praise. So various descriptions are given to Krishna. This description is very telling. So whoever is a devotee of Krishna or devotee of Mahavishnu, understand that you are worshipping that supreme source beyond which there is nothing. And when you are devoted to such a supreme source, do not worry about heaven and heavenly deities or denizens. Do not worry about Indra. Do not worry about Chandra. Do not be concerned about Varuna. Nobody you need worry about. There need not be a special worship about Brahma or worship for Shiva. No, this itself is sufficient. Nasyotagavaiva yasya vashe bhavanti brahmadayasthanubhruto midhurardhyamana kalasyate prakriti purushayoh parasya shamnastano tu charanaha purushottamasya. There are a number of verses like this. I am not taking all the verses. You know why? I don't have a feedback from all of you saying that Swamiji, whatever you say, this is how we listen to and we absorb. So I am wondering, these metaphysical and sometimes Puranic phrases, are they interesting to you? I am not very sure about it. So I am omitting a few, and I would like to say only a few so that I don't feel that I have bypassed everything. I will go to verse number 17 now. Tattasthusascha jagadascha bhavanadhisho yanmayayotha guna vikriyayopanidan arthanjushannapi krishikapatena lipto yenye swadaha parihritadapi bibhyati sma. Why am I discussing this verse? Because it has got a human relevance, a relevance to the mind of the human. Tattasthusascha jagadascha bhavan adhisho. You are actually an adhisha, the supreme lord, the all-controller, the all-regulator, the all-subjugator. Adhisha. There is nothing in the whole universe, either here or elsewhere, which is not under your control. Tattasthusascha. It means the whole universe consists of mobile and immobile creations. You are in charge of not merely the immobile, but also the mobile. Tattasthusascha jagadascha bhavan adhisho yen mayaya uttaguna vikriyayopanidan. Yad mayaya uttaguna vikriyaya upanidan arthan. As you are the controller of the mobile as well as the immobile creation, the whole universe and its contents, there are many objects produced by you. And these objects can be very alluring, very fascinating and enchanting. There are troublesome elements also. Whatever we report and we find to be of conflicting natures, all these are under the control of the Supreme Lord. And the Lord is present everywhere. Whatever He has created and is preserving, He is inside that. So when there is a cat catching hold of a rat, understand that the Supreme Lord is present in the rat as well as the cat. So in the rat, he is being preyed upon by the cat. The cat eats the rat mercilessly, cruelly, with a lot of rejoicing. And who is suffering actually? Not you or I, but actually the jiva, the life, the spirit contained in the animating the body of the rat. So there are so many such conflicts taking place here. There are wicked people, wicked animals, cruel animals. There are gentle animals. Many things, all of them have to live. And they have their own respective praise. So a lot of conflicting situations are here. Yad mayaya uttaguna vikriyaya upanidan arthan. By virtue of your own inscrutable power, you have produced a number of objects, and all these objects are coming for your own enjoyment or experience. Now, while doing so, Hey Hrishikapade, O Lord of the senses, Lord of the senses, Jushan Abhi, when you are enjoying all these objects, you know, when anybody enjoys anything in this world, understand that it is the creator and preserver God who is in the form of the jiva or the living spirit in that body. When you are eating, don't think that you as a man or a woman are eating. No. Who is present in you? It is the same Supreme Lord. By virtue of His omnipresence, He is present in you. Unknowingly or not knowingly you say, it is I who am eating. You are not eating. In every body is present the same divinity, the same Godhood. So actually all enjoyments are God's enjoyments are all. Jushannabi. In this way, multiple enjoyments you are having from a variety, myriad objects that you have created. While doing so, na liptaha, you are not affected the least. You don't have a stain at all. Suppose you have a family, and in the family 4 children are born, and 1 or 2 of them become wicked. How much of suffering you undergo as a parent? Now think of God. He is the one parent of the whole universe and all the contents of the universe. How much of suffering He must have? Similarly, how much of enjoyment He must have? Both in enjoying as well as in suffering. God, the all-indweller, does not have the least stain. This is what Bhagavata says. The context is the praise being offered by Devas in front of Krishna. But the message is one of unaffectedness supreme to be rendered to all the people. See, it may be an interaction between Devas and Krishna in Dwaraka. But actually the philosophy or the message, the value that is conveyed is for all the readers, all the thinkers, all the reflectors of the message. So, Jushannabhinalipta ye anye swataha parihrtad. On the other hand, others are not like that. Many people take to various forms of retreat. Whenever they are in trouble, they immediately go away. Suppose Kerala is hot or North India is cold. You will find in our ashram a number of people, including yatris, they come here during the worst winter months or the strongest winter months of the north. Whenever we ask them, we say, Delhi is very cold, Rishikesh is very cold. So we want to come away where there is not so much of cold. So we can move from one place to the other. Similarly, there are people who keep away from the family, saying the family atmosphere is not all right. Even today, a little old man has come saying that, I don't want to live in my family. I would like to stay somewhere here. I have to write. I have to write a book. Will you please allow me, give me some shelter? So people are trying to escape. Even then, that affectation still continues in their mind. So he is presenting a kind of a comparison and a contrast between Krishna on the one hand and the ordinary human beings on the other. What is the distinction of Krishna? He was a multi-householder. Even then he had no affectation from anybody at all. He managed his household consisting of 16,008 wives. And all the women felt that they had their husband nearby whenever they wanted. So it was not one Krishna, but many for all of them. Without any complaint he was managing. So in your case, you are not affected at all. You have no stain, either in enjoyment or in the suffering. On the other hand, every human being feels extremely loaded, extremely affected, extremely stained and intimidated, tormented by whatever he does or he has to undergo. So this is a very important statement. The philosophical message is conveyed, the philosophical message of remaining unaffected. Tattastushascha jagadascha bhavanadhisho yanmayayottha guna vikriyayopanitan arthan jushannapi hrishikapatena lipto yenye swadaha parihradabi bibhyadisma. Parihradabi bibhyadisma. They keep away from the objects as a safety measure. Even then what happens? They are afraid, they are tormented, but you are not. It is in this context that I thought I will tell you something of Sreemad Bhagavatam discussed in the earlier portions. This is actually a conversation between Brahma and Priyavrata. It comes from the 5th skandha. It is chapter 1 and verse 17 and 18. It's a very important verse. Bhayam pramattasya vaneshvapi syat yatasaste sahashat sapatnah jidendriyasya atmarader budhasya grihashramah kimnu karotyavadyam. I think many of you will be happy to listen to this verse because it is actually a compliment given to the householders. All of you are householders, I am sure. More than 99.9999 recurring percent of my listeners, viewers are householders. Bhayam pramattasya vaneshvapi syat. For pramatta means what? The one deluded, who is still ignorant, who does not do any spiritual, philosophical or religious introspection, who feels that the visible world alone is everything. There is nothing like the mind or its majesty, intelligence or its magnificence. There is no subtle inner personality called the mind, intelligence, ego. It's all a play of biology, that's all. What makes matter and energy biological, that they are not prepared to think. So pramattaha, as long as he does not have a regulated or a reformed, controlled mind, he becomes a pramatta. Such a pramatta who has no control over his mind. Suppose he makes a retreat from the house, from the plain life. He goes to the forest and lives in a hermitage even. Bhayam pramattasya vaneshvapi syat. When he goes there, he goes with his mind. His mind is not changed. Only physically he takes his body and starts living in a hermitage or in a kutira. The mind has not meant any change at all. He remains pramatta. The mind is still under the control of the senses. He does not have any regulation. There is no refinement. There is no stability. There is no poise. There is no sublimity. Nothing. Such a man, if he goes to vana, forest, yatasaste sahashat sabatnaha, there also he has the same cause of fear. Why? The fear is caused by the emotions of the mind. What are the emotions? Primarily they are 6 in number. Sahashat sabatnaha. There are six parallel forces working in his mind. What are they? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. These are the 6 enemies that we have. When he was in the household, these 6 were sufficiently strong. And they were raging virtually a war in his mind. And with the same mind he has gone to the forest. When he lives there, the mind remains the same. So he is still under the influence, under the grip of these forces. Yadassa aste sahashatsapatnaha. He lives accompanied by the same enemies. On the other hand, jitendriyasya atmarater budhasya grihashramah kim nukarotyavadyam. On the other hand, suppose remaining in the house itself, jitendriyaha, he is able to control and regulate his senses, indriyas. Atmarate, he starts rejoicing and exulting in the glory and the joy and the delight of his own inmost self. He is given to contemplation, he is given to scriptural reading, he is given to a lot of reflection, rumination, introspection, as a result of which he likes to sit alone, thinking about what he has read. The scriptures give a lot of enlightenment to us. There are so many illustrations, so many explanations, all extolling the glory, the splendor, the supremacy, the fulfilling nature of the inmost presence, which we indicate by the term I. Aham pratyaya gocharaha. Whatever the I denotes, that is the self. So the self is very much extolled in our Shastras. So he reads them, he thinks about them, he contemplates upon them, and by so doing he has understood Atmaritihi. He has started developing a lot of joy within himself without any external object or association. For such a person, grihashramaha kim nu karotyavadyam. Maybe he has grihashrama. Griha is the ashrama for him. What kind of a wrong or what kind of something despicable will be there in the household life? Everyone is born in the household. Even the ascetics, they are born of householders. So it is a question of your having the right control over the mind. Why am I reciting this verse? They were extolling Krishna, saying that you are enjoying everything produced by your own inscrutable power called Maya, but you are not tormented or affected by any one of them. On the other hand, the Prapanchikas, the Samsaris, the worldly people, they get affected even if they have only one child and one house to look after. Bhayam pramattasya vaneshva visyat yadasaste sahashat sapatnaha jitendriyasya atmarater budhasya. The word budhasya means you must have viveka, discrimination, discretion. Try to cultivate it, develop it, enhance it, and excel in that viveka cultivation. Then, jitendriyasya atmarater budhasya grihashramah kim nu karotyavadyam. Nothing impeachable will happen if you live in the house, provided you attain mind's purity, expansion of the intelligence, and the habit of delighting and rejoicing in your own inmost self. Now, in order to have control over the mind, should you distance yourself from the house if you ask? Bhagavata has this to say, Yashatsapatnan vijigishamano griheshu nirvishya yateta purvam atyeti durgashrita urjitarin kshineshu gamam vicharet vipaschid. Yashatsapatnan vijigishamano. Suppose you are intent, you are interested in overcoming, sublimating, winning over all the 6 enemies: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. What should you do? Griheshu nirvishyayateta purvam. Continue to live in the house. House is the safest place for you. You are born of your parents. They have fondness for you, love for you. You can depend upon them. They also have a lot of reliance and acceptance towards you. So it's a very beautiful relationship between the parents and the children. Preserve it, cherish it, honor it, value it, and utilize it properly. So, griheshu nirvishya yadeta purvam. But, that but is important. Your life in the household should be a life of austerity, a life of inner discipline, regulation, refinement and sublimation. Don't live there as a lavish person. Don't live there as a careless person. Don't live there as a material monger. No, no, no. We are human beings. Our delight should be inner, inward. It should be born of the mind and the heart. Let us not be like the cat eating a rat. So, we should not be like that. Griheshu nirvishya yateta purvam. That is why Sreemad Bhagavatam is there. Adopt it. Adopt it. Make it your companion. Read it. Recite it. At least 2 or 3 chapters and see what happens. What a great transformation will take place in your life. 2 or 3 chapters of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, maybe 1 or 2 Upanishads or similar texts. Once you start reading this, we are conducting a cultural heritage class about which sometimes we tell you. It is here in the ashram. We similarly have children taken from the slum area in Vasundhara, you can say almost in Delhi.